Hey, what up everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you. I think everybody knows from watching the channel that basically I've been doing some Royal Rumble reviews starting way back in the day with 1989, building my way up I think I got to the point of 1994. And then I looked at the 95 Rumble and said, nah, no thanks. Skipped a few years ahead and plopped down on the Royal Rumble from 1998. This was a Rumble that came to you live on pay-per-view from the San Jose Arena in San Jose, California. This, of course, would be Mike Tyson sitting up in one of the luxury boxes with Shane McMahon and Vince McMahon watching the show as it counted down. This would be the all-time height of Stone Cold Steve Austin frenzy. This is an awesome show. This is an awesome Rumble. This is one that, honestly, when the Rumble was over, I sat here and I was like, well, the Rumble wasn't that long. I could rewind it and watch it again. This is probably one of the most fun shows I've watched on the WWE Network in a long while. I definitely tell everybody to go out of your way to make sure you go and check this out. Much like a lot of the Rumbles. Even though by this point, a lot of the guys, if they're working a regular match, they're going to be involved in the Royal Rumble match as well. But still, the undercard didn't really mean a whole lot. We had a match of Vader going up against Goldust. Vader hits a Vader bomb in the corner on the artist formerly known as Goldust with Luna. Match isn't that great. And then from there, you go to a tag team match involving a whole bunch of minis. Max Mini, who was the main mini in WWE at the time, probably the highlight of this match. Sunny is out there as the special guest referee. Her attire for the night wasn't the best Sunny attire. I'm sure in 1998, Sunny was looking scorching hot and looking like one of the best babes you've ever seen. But, looking back on it now, it was what it was. Maybe after seeing those pictures of Sunny on Skype, maybe Sunny's been ruined for me forever. From there we go to a great match, Intercontinental Championship match, The Rock going up against Ken Shamrock. We had seen Shamrock go up against all of the members of the Nation of Domination leading up to this Intercontinental Championship match. And Shamrock at this point was red hot. He looked like he was really going to walk into this match, become Intercontinental Champion, and I think this would be his first championship in the WWF. I know that when he came there, he had eyes on becoming the WWF champion. Bret Hart was one of the guys that heavily recruited him to be there, and Bret really wanted to have matches where Shamrock and Bret traded the championship back and forth, and Shamrock really made WWF a big-time name for stealing all of his sort of UFC fame and bringing those fans over to there, but it never really worked out the way it was supposed to. But leading up to this is where Mark Henry had his heel turn on the Go Home Monday Night Raw leading to the Rumble, if you can remember that. That's when he joined the Nation of Domination, turning on Ken Shamrock in a tag match. This one was a really good match, where basically The Rock knew that Ken Shamrock had his number, and he was doing anything in the world to make sure that he was going to keep that Intercontinental Championship around his waist. At one point, The Rock pulls out some brass knucks, hits Ken Shamrock with him, and when he goes to hide him, he hides him in Shamrock's tights. Shamrock hits the mat. The Rock goes to cover him for the 1 and 2. Shamrock's able to kick out. When he gets up, he hits a belly-to-belly suplex on The Rock, which is enough to put the match away. Shamrock's able to get up, enjoy his victory, and pose for the Intercontinental Championship before The Rock grabs a hold of the referee, complaining about being hit with a pair of brass knucks, telling the ref, go check Shamrock's tights. They're going to be in there. When the ref goes over to check Shamrock out, he finds the tights, immediately reverses the decision with Rock walking out of there. The winner via disqualification, keeping his Intercontinental Championship, furthering Shamrock's feud with The Rock even more. From there we go to the Legion of Doom going up against the New Age Outlaws. New Age Outlaws were really running ruckshot over the tag team division at this point. They had scored a I don't want to say fluke, but maybe a surprise victory over the Legion of Doom, winning the WWF Tag Team Championship, putting them in some sort of a feud. From there, the New Age Outlaws would go on to further try and embarrass the Legion of Doom, who were on the back end of their careers at this point. They still had the name, they still had the shoulder pads, but they just weren't what they once were. It was shortly after this is when they brought in, I guess his name was Puke. Draws. That's his name. I've almost called him Duke Dumpster. He was never in the Legion of Doom. Draws shortly came in there to get Hawk out of the way, because Hawk was sort of holding the team down. Much like with Demolition, making the team, instead of having 2 men, you were going to have 3. And Axe wouldn't be able to burden the load of all those matches, and they'd be able to have Demolition on house shows and pay-per-views and all sorts of things, building up to big matches. But the Outlaws, they held down the Legion of Doom. They shaved off one of Hawk's mohawks, and you could tell he doesn't shave the rest of his head. He wears like a battle scar into this match. There's a point when Legion of Doom hits a big, huge power slam move, looking like they're going to score the big victory, pinning Billy Gunn in the middle of the ring, right as they're about to hit the 3 count to make the Legion of Doom the new tag team champions, beating the New Age Outlaws. Road Dogg hits one of the members of Legion of Doom with a chair, causing disqualification, even though the 3 was coming down. The chair shot ended the match. Very smart move by the New Age Outlaws. They would go on to have more further big-time things. I know in a lot of Four Corners tag matches, they still bring up outlaw rules in a lot of those, where basically the Outlaws were able to outsmart the people that they were feuding with at that time. From there we go to the 30-man Royal Rumble match. Surprise, surprise. It's not the main event of the show. I almost turned this show off once it was all done, thinking that Stone Cold Steve Austin had won the big one. Little did I know that after this comes the WWF Championship match of Shawn Michaels going up against Undertaker. This match starts out with Cactus Jack and Chainsaw Charlie drawing number 1 and number 2. From there, they really have a hardcore battle. They really bring it to this, starting off the Royal Rumble in the right way. It would be the first of the many appearances of Mick Foley in this match. Tom Brady, Sylvester Sincere, I believe is what most people remember him as. Tom Brady, sort of a real jobber in WWE. He comes out at number 3. He lasts a matter of about 10 seconds in this match. And it didn't last long. From there, you have The Rock coming in. Big name, Intercontinental Champion, definitely on the rise in WWF at this time. From there, we go to Mosh, Phineas, 8-Ball, Blackjack, Bradshaw. One of the big drawing powers of this was, it's not like the next year at 99, there wasn't a bounty on Stone Cold Steve Austin's head, but definitely everybody knew he was the guy that everybody was gunning for to make sure. We saw during the pre-show and we saw during the show the Nation of Domination. We saw the Sons of Anarchy, the biker dudes. Come on, what the heck was their name? We saw them trying to take out Stone Cold Steve Austin, being outsmarted by him, not being where they thought he was going to be. We saw Los Boricuas go in and try to attack Stone Cold Steve Austin, which ended up being the biker gang. Another big dude with a bald head, and get their ass kicked for that one. Nothing really big in here. Owen Hart, he comes down, gets a I forgot what the hell I was talking about. Owen Hart comes down. He gets outsmarted by Triple H and Chyna, who are injured during this. Triple H pulls out Owen Hart by using his crutches. Blackman, D'Lo Brown, Kurgan, Mark Merrill, lots of guys from the Attitude Era. Nothing really big going on in here. No real big names that went down, but it's just fun to see these guys come in there. Shamrock, Thrasher, Mankind makes his second appearance. He doesn't last all that long inside of the match, coming out at number 16, making it his second appearance in there. From there, you got Gold Dust, Jeff Jarrett, the Hunky Tonk Man, Ahmed Johnson, who was definitely a guy that I thought had a big chance to win this. He gets outsmarted by D'Lo Brown and Mark Henry of the Nation of Domination. He gets dumped out after only about 3 minutes. Everybody knew that Stone Cold Steve Austin was going down, but there's always guys you keep your eye on in there. From there, we finally get to number 22, where Skull is his number. Basically, at the time, everybody's thinking that Stone Cold Steve Austin is eliminated because he doesn't come out. Everybody thinks that there's a rumor going around that Ken Shamrock had attacked Stone Cold Steve Austin in the back, making him physically unable to compete. He comes out at number 24. Everybody turns around. They're all waiting for him. Stone Cold Steve Austin comes through the crowd, sneaks into the back, starts dumping dudes over the top rope. Immediately, is able to toss out two guys, and from there the fight is on. It comes down to basically Rock, Austin, Dude Love, and Farouk. Of course, two members of the Nation of Domination. The Rock and Austin and Dude Love, former tag team champions at this point. Even though they didn't want to be together, they were together. They're all fighting before Austin finally goes over. Austin's able to dump Dude Love, surprisingly turning on him. From there, it comes down to Austin wrestling against The Rock for the sole winner of the Royal Rumble. Austin goes to eliminate The Rock, who basically skins the cat, who comes back in only to meet a stunner and then to be tossed over the top rope. Stone Cold Steve Austin, non-surprisingly, your big Royal Rumble winner. From there, you lead up into your main event, Undertaker against Stone Cold Steve Austin. These guys had big-time heat on them going all the way back to SummerSlam. Your special guest referee, Shawn Michaels, smashes Undertaker with a chair when he was trying to hit Bret Hart. From there, Undertaker loses a shot at the championship, and it's on like Donkey Kong. Basically, they would have a match at, what was the name of that pay-per-view? Ground Zero. That was it. Ground Zero, they have a match, which basically ends because of the outside interference of Triple H in China. From there, they go on to have the Hell in the Cell match, and this is supposed to be the big payoff from the end. Was a casket match. Unfortunately, there's a spot where he's going off like crazy. There's basically a spot when Undertaker throws Shawn Michaels over the top rope. Looks like a very normal bump, but on his way down, Shawn Michaels hits the corner of the casket. He's still able to go in and wrestle at least a good 15 minutes in the match. Shawn comes back into there. He's able to get the win over the Undertaker, thanks to a lot of the help from Kane and Paul Bearer, who locked the Undertaker inside of the casket, wheel it up towards the entranceway of the stage for the Royal Rumble. From there, Kane and Paul Bearer douse it with gasoline, light the match, and burn down the Undertaker's casket. From there, the flames are extinguished. The Undertaker is no longer inside of the casket. Once Kane opens it up, you only hear the Undertaker basically warning Kane that our paths shall cross again. I shall never rest in peace, leading up to their big WrestleMania match that would be down the road. So that was it. This is honestly a great show. Royal Rumble 1998. Go out of your way and check this out. It's going to be a good one.